Kalimera. It's a pleasure being here among friends and like having this discussion. The panel is mainly a conversation about startups, and that means both like having founders and investors. And of course, since we are at the Gen AI Summit, we will discuss also about AI and how this is transforming what is happening in that sector. So please, let's start with like an introduction. So who are you? What are you doing? What are you building? And what is your mission behind this?
Should I start? Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning. So I'm Kostas, co-founder of Uplodio. We're building an AI agent in influencer marketing in order for brands to scale influencer partnerships with more creators without them having to do the manual work. So we've seen it's a huge problem, and we try to solve it globally.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Melina. I invest with Big Pie Ventures across stages. So we have an early stage fund and also a growth fund. And we invest in bold founders who want to change the world.
Hi, everyone. I'm Panos, co-founder of Sally, formerly Coinbux. Basically, Sally is an AI-powered fintech app where we help users, specifically young ages from Gen Z to millennials, to understand better their money, have a better cash management tool in their hands, and all of that using AI both in our product and in our operations inside.
Thank you. So let's start from you, Pano. Basically, what is the problem that you felt that you experienced, and you said, okay, we'll need to fix that, and like share more about like your journey and like how are you doing now?
Yeah, of course. Basically, long story short, Sally was not the first initiative that we did. As I said before, Sally before was Coinbux, as you all know. Coinbux was an earned wage access, as we called, B2B business, where basically we were partnering up with employers in order to give employees access to their money earlier than the end of the month. Basically, that was a turning point that we saw because employers were hard and didn't really understand the value of this. And we wanted to go direct to consumer. Basically, our past persona employees, now it's users. And we wanted them to have a tool in their hands so they can learn about their money, where they're spending. Sally is basically an AI agent behind the app that knows where you are spending your money, gives you exact talks to you about your money and how you can manage them better. Also, we are giving them cash advances in order for users when they don't have money, basically at the end of the month. We can support them through our credit partner and have money whenever they want.
And when did you realize that, okay, this should be a product and like you have a product market fit and like
basically, it was the idea from the start. The perception of Sally came from the pivot that we did. And we saw that basically the aha moment where when in our first month we hit 10,000 users and we were like, okay, that's finally working at the end of the day.
Super amazing. And Melina, like you've seen many investors, but you've seen many investors, of course, but also founders, I wanted to say. Many decks, many teams. What is the signals that you understand that those founders have the potential to build like this amazing startup that, as you mentioned, is going to change the world?
So there are a few things that we look for. Personally, my favorite is a deep earned insight into the problem. So I want to see founders that have lived the problem in some way, either in their prior career or in their personal life, and they just didn't just read about it. So that's something that I really look for in founders. Another thing is I want them to be obsessed to learn from their customers and also then try to serve them in the right way. And the biggest one, in my opinion, is their ability to attract the best talent early on. So that's the biggest sign that other people trust you, so I can trust you too.
I love that. And like, what is in that a misconception that many young founders have about the VCs, and like, since you're also really young in the VC world?
I think the biggest one is that we're just a check and money. I think, at least the way we see it and the way we like to work with founders, we are choosing them very carefully, so they should choose us very carefully as well. They will need to be able to trust us and trust that we have the same ambition and the excitement to build something really great together.
Super. And Costa, like Melina mentioned, like those insights. What is the insight that you see for Uplodio, and then basically that you started in that so chaotic world of that sector that you are in?
Yeah. So the way we found out that the process is too manual and companies should have an agent doing that instead of just people was from our users. I think is one of the worst ways possible because we had to build a lot of product to actually find out. So we saw from our users that teams of 15, 20 people could not handle large campaigns with influencers. And on the other side, brands want to invest in this channel because it's a really great channel to them in order to get conversions. So we actually started, talking with the largest brands in the world to see if it's actually a problem for them. It is a problem. So that's why we made it the whole process agentic in order for brands to scale without needing to hire 10, 15, 20 people.
And you do that like with AI, you mentioned too, like do you use that in your product?
Yeah, so it's an agent that helps on the whole workflow. So it sources creators, reaches out, it handles the whole negotiation like a human would do, and close that creator, imagining like a sales outbound tool plus the whole part of closing an actual deal. And that is with AI, of course.
Amazing. And and you're also a first-time founder, right?
Yeah.
And Panos, you second. So Melina, I would love to hear an advice to a first-time founder, like who's maybe afraid to take that leap and like start.
I think it's okay to be scared and to take that leap because it's a really big decision and it's not for everyone. It's a tough job to be a founder. I think both Kostas and Panos can attest to that. So it's not for everyone. So you need to really think about if that life is for you because it's a completely different lifestyle than corporate life. But if you're a young founder and you're unsure, maybe you can try de-risking it in some way before launching your startup and leaving behind everything. You can go and talk to the potential customers you're trying to serve and see if the problem that you're trying to solve is really a big problem and if someone is willing to pay for it. So that way you can de-risk it at least psychologically and also practically.
Pana, what do you think? Like, what's that advice that you give to the first-time founder?
I totally agree that it's not for everyone. Basically, talking personally, I've gained like 30 kilos all over this journey. You need to have guts in order to do this. You need to be okay with a lot of people saying to you that this is crazy, saying about investments, etc. The best thing that happened for me in all of this journey, it's my team. Basically, no one can do this alone. I personally don't believe in solo founders. I believe only in teams, strong teams, and psychologically in sync teams, to be exact. You have to be more than partners, more than friends with your co-founders at least. And this is, I see a lot of startups, a lot of teams break because of founder problems and that they're not in sync. It's very hard. or you all of it know it. Being with people 12, 13 hours a day, if those people are not committed personally to the team or to you, it's a very hard task to do. This is, you know, if I have one advice, it's team, 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 nothing else. All of the other can come at the second stage if you have the right team to do it.
Kostas, do you agree in that? And like,
Yeah, 100%. Of course, team is everything. I'm really lucky from my side that my two co-founders, I know them since 10 years old, my best friends. So we actually made a startup. But of course, the lucky thing here is that we are psychologically async, and you know they are in software development. I am in the other field. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
and what's the unique advantage of starting early, like really young, like?
Okay. I'm not sure if there are many advantages. So I think it's better, you know, to have lived some years in order to develop some skills. But on the other hand, starting younger, you can think, I think you can be able to think a lot more outside of the box to try and say that, okay, this thing shouldn't work that way. And the second thing is that most of, you know, the corporate life rewards, doesn't reward failure. And also university doesn't reward failure. And what we should do as founders is fail as fast as we can. So we have to get into a mentality that we have many question marks, and that's okay. And we're about to fail a lot of times. And then afterwards, something good may happen. So I think hopping in this early on is easier for you than, let's say, working 10, 15 years in an environment that doesn't reward failure.
Yeah, it's easier to try and fail or like to handle that. And Melina, you've seen also founders from the growth fund perspective too. So yeah, what do you think about that? Like starting early or like starting later?
Starting early, the advantage is that the downside is smaller. You are not locked in a 10-year fancy career that you will have to leave behind in order to go and start a startup. So that's the advantage. And you also don't have like other responsibilities like family and kids that depend on you. But I also agree with Kostas that it's not the ideal to just drop out or start the startup after university. I think that gaining some skills in the corporate environment or even another startup is really important because you gain insight into an industry you didn't know anything about before. So you can earn that insight that I was talking about before and maybe find a new problem that no one is solving. So there is also advantage in that.
Yes, I would like to add also that, for example, I am 21 years old. In my case, I wouldn't like to wait, let's say, 10 years to gain experience. I think it's way better if you feel it to directly jump on the problem and try to solve it and go in the trenches without having to gain experience. Of course, if you have more experience, it's going to be better. But if you want, I suggest you jump now.
Thank you very much for that. And let's dig more in the AI part of this conversation. So, Panos, like your product is based also in AI and like Sally and like now that you did this new launch of your startup. So about your automation, like how much of your product now it's enabled by an automation that maybe it wasn't like possible 5 years ago?
So let's say about 70% right now. We have two huge tasks that we have to do. And if we didn't have AI, we will be, sorry for the word, fucked, basically. The first one is the conversations that Sally does with users. Basically, Sally knows the exact transactional history, banking-wise, of each user. So she can talk to the user about his highest spending, let's say, the merchants that he or she is spending more per month. We have a competitor in the US, basically, where he started in 2015. think of like a product like this in 2015, where we basically had chatbots, that's okay, but you didn't have the intelligence to, make the user love the product because it's a product that talks humanly about their money. Our motto in Sally basically is your money that talks, so that says everything. The second huge task is the transactions. Basically, when a user connects their bank account with Sally, Sally has to categorize those transactions in order to know where the user is spending their money, what's their income, etc. If we didn't have AI with this one, there are softwares that can do it, but basically we were able to know where these 900,000 transactions are with 500 euros through OpenAI credits. So it's not only the automation and speed, it's also how much are you willing to pay in order, basically we're not paying, we're investing in this. And that was something, we were both of us, the three of us, behind the screen, and we're like, man, imagine if we didn't have AI with this one. It would take us, I don't know, we've launched Sally in 1.5 months, 2 months in, as I said before, 10,000 users, a lot of transactions, etc. If we didn't have AI, at least we will need 2 more engineers because we only have our co-founder and CTO, Nikos. And he's totally okay with that. Until now, we're doing now our first hire because, okay, that's enough. But that has, to do a lot with how teams are built right now. Basically, we are not aiming, to surpass like 50 headcount, and a lot less than that. We were imagining that Sally would max have 20 or 30 people working, because right now with AI and automations, we can do magic, basically.
Wow, that's amazing. And what is like 3 years from now, something like that you will integrate in Sally, and we will say exactly the same conversation that, wow, yeah, without AI, we couldn't do that. And it will feel obvious in the next 3 years. Yeah, basically, the vision here is that we want to make Sally, the go-to app for you to ask about money and financial decisions in all of the spectrum of the fintech, basically from getting money, from earning money, from know how to spend your money, from investing, everything. 3 years from now, you all know it. We don't know how things will be in 6 months from now, basically. The only thing that we know is that we want to, go all over Europe. We want to surpass our competitor in the US. And because right now, the fintech-wise, Europe is a little bit strange regarding regulations, etc. And we want to, let's say, break that wall and become the #1 Sally app, because it's I don't want to say fintech because it's a broad category. We want to be the biggest player in Europe doing Sally. I'm sure you will, because I know the team, that you're an amazing team. So I'm 100% convinced that you will do that. So in your market, Costa, how AI is transforming that entire workflow, but for brands, Panos mentioned about what's happening with the fintech sector and our.
So even the largest brands in the world have some solutions, like a CRM, I would say it's similar, that they actually have people managing the creators, the influencers, so manual work, but in software. How AI changes that, and we also did that with Amy, our agent, is that we can completely remove the human intersection from 60% to 80% of the workflow by having AI actually find, vet, reach out, negotiate, actually close deals with those creators. But otherwise, a human team of 10, 15, 20 people, depending on the scale that we want to get, we do that. And also, it is actually not possible to work, let's say, with 100, 500, 1,000 creators with a human team. I wouldn't say we should remove humans from the whole equation, 100%. But some parts that are boring and frustrating for humans to do actually and low value for the working hour should definitely be automated. And now we have the option to do that.
So this is the part that you think that AI, like the automation will like outperform humans from that process, from the boring process?
Yeah. Just as like many industries, for example, sales, SDRs, except the cold calling part may disappear, let's say in a year or two, because we have Clay, we have GTM tools. We try to do that with influencer marketing, the prospecting part, let's say.
And then it's the human part. And then it's a human as well.
Yeah, after, when we're about to talk with, when we're about to handle creative stuff, let's say reviewing content and stuff, there's still human in the loop.
Yeah, of course. And like Melina, from the VC, like in the investment perspective, like, do you invest like differently in the AI native startups, like versus all the other like software companies that you see?
I think now the standards are much more higher in order for us to invest in an AI startup, because AI made everything super easy to build and to come up with new products and new software. So for us, I think the notion of having to look for the defensibility long-term has changed a little bit in a way that we are a bit stricter with that. So we'll need to see maybe a data mode or a distribution mode or a deep workflow mode that someone else just doesn't know in order to invest in a new AI native startup. But we also, we are very focused in the ROI part a lot. So we'll need to understand, is it just a productivity gain for the end customer? Is it like a 2x productivity? Is it 10x? I don't think like a small productivity is enough for the long term to be sustainable. Or is it maybe a revenue generator for the business? That will be even better for us to get involved and invest.
AI is a buzzword now in the VC world. Like I'm sure that you see everywhere .ai.
Yes, there is. I don't see decks a lot that do not have the word AI.
Like about vibe coding now. So it's something that really transforms the ecosystem, and I think that today there's also here a vibe coding hackathon too. So how do you think that those tools will change that skill set that it's required to start a company? So do you use them also?
Yeah, so I'm not the right one to answer that. I'm not the technical one, but I would say my CTO, our CTO kind of hates it, actually. But as the goal is to actually ship something really fast and validate it with users, yeah, vibe coding should be the way to do it. So a business person can vibe code something in one day, for example, and can actually talk to users about that or market it. That is a great use of vibe coding. But I'm not sure about production level apps if it can actually work.
Pano, do you, like your team, do you use it?
Not very much. Basically, what I think and my team think of vibe coding is that it generates two things, basically, competition and creativity. We need both of them. Because by having both of them, we are validating if someone is copying us or someone else. It validates that, first one, it's a cool idea, okay, that's fine. But second one, that the end user needs it, and you're not the only one that you are offering it to users. And it starts a game of not who is better, but who is doing it better, and who's better with their user, who understands better their user and gives him the things that he or she needs. It's a great tool from my perspective. So you can, build apps as fast as possible, validate things. From the investor perspective, it's also a great thing. But it has to fit in the right team in order to do it. You can use it, of course, in smaller tasks. Let's say you want to do a competition and you want, let's say, to build a lovable site in 2 hours in order to complete the competition, etc. It's a great tool overall.
Melina, what do you think about this sector? We had a conversation before the panel.
I think internally in teams and in startups, I think most developers now use tools like Cursor and Codex as a co-pilot. We haven't seen any startups that have built their tools just from Lovable or vibe coding yet. I'm sure it will happen, but I'm not sure that we are in that stage of production readiness from this kind of tools in order to be 100% vibe coded app. I think in general, the way we see it basically is that vibe code is changing a lot, the way that organizations and startups work. It changes the productivity and the standards to be like a developer have lowered. You can be a non-technical person and create amazing things these days. So there's even more focus in not can you code question, but can you find an interesting problem? Can you communicate efficiently with customers? And can you communicate efficiently and persuade investors in order to invest in your startup? So we're entering an era where we're going to be much more focused in the human side of building a startup rather than the technical expertise required.
But do you think that the next generation of the unicorns will be from smaller teams and because with this AI, the productivity and the scale, it's much bigger?
For sure. We're gonna see much smaller teams building the same thing that 1,000 people were required to build before. So there is one thing in the investor community that we're waiting to see the first unicorn with just one person. And I think it's gonna happen in the next years. So the productivity is massive from AI, and that will be reflected as well in the margins of those startups and also how many people they employ.
Panos?
Think of one person, you saw me, right? Think of one person, isn't it a little bit sad? One person, $1 billion idea. I get it, I'm kidding. As I said before, we know that it will happen. We saw it as we were working and building Sally and Coinbux at the same time. We believe that small teams can do better, speed up better, build better. Our saying in this is, get the best people that you can, both personality-wise and experience-wise. For us, basically, personality matters more than, experience. Pay them well, and the other things will come. Have a great culture, of course, blah, 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 blah. One person, $1 billion idea, and you know it.
Super. Kostas, your thoughts on that?
Definitely. At the moment, for example, in go-to-market, our team is able to send, let's say, 1,000 emails per day. That would be impossible without having, let's say, 10 people doing that job. So actually, I believe that, let's say, 5-person team, 10-person team, people team will be able, to have doing huge businesses around the world.
Are you hiring? Someone should reach out to you?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
I'm trying to have an AI agent first and then try to hire.
So I'm sure that this is a great place to build. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.